Today I'm going to show you this, which I made in my spare time over a weekend using mostly scrap pots. Hello everyone, welcome back to Littleton, and today I'm going to show you a Christmas diorama that I made out of bits that were just lying around. So to start off, this is made out of primarily two pieces of chipboard that are from old furniture that happen to be the same width, and they are screwed together, braced with a piece of triangular wood here where the screws go through from the back and the bottom, and then two more screws going along the back there to keep it in place. The sky is made from blue card, and to stop the card from warping, the PVA was spread on using an old credit card, so it was a nice thin layer, and then the card was pressed gently between the two pieces of wood, sandwiched together with clamps, and that gave it a nice flat finish with a only slightly visible line there in the middle. Base layers are made of two pieces of polystyrene, both cut, so one piece goes along the back, one piece goes along the front. The offcuts from the ends were used to make the raised area, the plateau, for the house to go on, and then also to support the track here that overhung the polystyrene on this corner of the platform. The bushes used are from Woodlands Scenics. They're just the general all-purpose bush or underbrush that they do. The track is just made from pieces of spare track that I had lying about. If you look very carefully, you can see they don't match. This one's nickel, this one's steel. But that doesn't matter because this is a non-functioning piece of track, and you're not going to really notice, be looking at it that closely anyway. Something like this is perfect for using those odds and ends of pieces of track. The path to the house is made using N-gauge ballast, and then in the corners of the house and along the side of the path, I used a pipette to bead some glue and then sprinkled the snow onto the glue to give it this sort of like raised area, so it looked like it had been shoveled or the wind had swirled the snow up into the corners. This house is the teeny tiny cottage that came with this last Railway Modeller magazine by Metcalfe. The platform was super quick card kits. It was about £8 and it included 4 sections of platform, and then the fences that you see here. There are some other additional extras like benches and luggage, but I didn't want to use them on this, so I've just gone for the basic platform and fences. The platform was shortened to make it fit the board, and then the extra piece, the bit that was cut out, was then added round the back here to add support for the station building. The station building is another free card kit from Metcalfe that came with Railway Modeller magazine. That's something I like to do, is when I pick up these small pieces that aren't part of any bigger plan, they're perfect for using on a diorama where you don't need matching kits or pieces of scenery or anything like that. The edges of the board have been painted blue so that they match nicely and don't show exposed chipboard. And where the polystyrene is, that's just white card cut to shape and then gently glued on the edge, using being sparing with the glue so not to soak it and cause ripples. As you can see, I didn't quite get the mixture right, and I got a few ripples here on this side, but they're not really noticeable when your eye is actually drawn to the scenery anyway. The polystyrene was cut with an angle. The polystyrene wasn't going to look very realistic, so then glue was applied and then toilet paper gently padded on, and then glue spread over the toilet paper. The snow that is used is by Woodlands Scenics, but it was under a different brand for some Warhammer type modelling company instead. The snow was very good. The bag was quite expensive. It was about £7 for the bag, but it has covered this with plenty left over. The snow here represents snow that has sort of like been swirled around on the ice. As you can see, this is where you have to take a little bit of artistic license. I've got no idea how to produce something that looks like ice other than using resin, and I wasn't going to bother doing resin here and doing a whole bed, water bed. So I went down a Minecraft route and used a sort of like a solid shade of blue to represent ice, and then to drive home that it's ice, I've scattered the snow on top, because of course the snow would instantly melt if it was a river. And then to add to that, snow has been pushed in underneath the bushes here to sort of like give that idea of the snow has been blown towards the bushes and then got caught underneath the brush. Now for this scene's party trick. Down here in the side there's a battery pack, and if I switch that on, we have lighting in the small station building and lighting in the front and the back of the little teeny tiny house as well. The lights were cut from they're LEDs cut from an old broken pair of Christmas lights. So if you have Christmas lights that have ceased working, you can actually remove those bulbs and wire them up to a battery pack. These are about £3 off of Amazon. That battery pack comes from another set of lights, but I just cut the wires. The wires are hidden between the cracks in the polystyrene. You can see it's covered up there, a bit of tissue paper over the top and then snow sprinkled on the top. So that runs up, and then where I didn't have cracks available, I cut out grooves for the wires and then covered them up with bushes to hide them. And then to stop the wire being tugged and potentially causing the thing to disconnect, I used a hot glue gun to fix the wires into place just here. This battery pack comes out quite easily with the spare wire left behind. So that just slides in and out, and the wire can tuck in there as well. There's just a little bit of extra space so the wire can get into. I'll sort that out. A bit easier to do with two hands rather than one. So now I'll show you what it looks like with a few different trains on. This is an old Triang train. I think this looks really lovely and quite festive because of the bright colour blue that it is. I think it looks very, very nice on this layout. As it can handle a small train, it's of course big enough to handle a large locomotive by itself. So here we've got the Flying Scotsman, and again, I think what works well with this are those bright primary colours. So we've got a lovely strong green here, contrasts well with the background. If you're not a fan of steam engines, here's a lovely Deltic. I think this looks really nice. This Deltic's actually wired up to have, it's got an LED inside it, and so one thing you could do is you can potentially run those wires to the track as well. The motor is disconnected inside of this, and instead the LED is directly connected to the wheels, and that means that if I'd connected those wires to the track, this would pick up and the cab light would come on that I fitted. That was a nice simple job. This is an old Lima locomotive, so inside there's no fiddly electronics or anything. Fitting a bulb temporarily and reversibly is quite easy to do. Obviously this would look probably even better if you had something like one of the snow ploughs to fit to the engine. This is Hornby's standard Christmas train. I think this also looks very good, so if perhaps you don't have the room to put the track down this year or next year, making something like this is quite a nice way of still being able to display that locomotive. Perhaps you've recently got new grandchildren or children or something, and they like to fiddle diddle with the locomotive if it was going around, so this way you can have something that looks nice up out of their reach, so you can all see it and enjoy it, but also at the same time it won't get damaged or broken by tiny fingers. Someone else who looks great on here is Thomas the Tank Engine with Annie and Clarabelle. Obviously lovely colours on the locomotives, lovely bright vivid colours, goes well with the layout, stands out against the white snow, and is quite fun to look at. And we've all watched Thomas the Tank Engine, and my favourite episodes were the ones where Thomas was getting stuck in snow, so that brings back nice memories of those episodes. And of course, if you're going to mention Thomas, you've got to mention the troublesome trucks. And here I've done a small scene where those naughty trucks have caused an accident, and there they are, laughing their naughty little faces off. And as you can see, ducks come along with the crane to tidy up the mess that they've made. You naughty trucks. I hope you found this useful, and hopefully I've inspired you to perhaps make a model of your own. If you do, good luck and have lots of fun making it.